Today, I'm going to be touching on MSC Apex, which is one of the key pre-post processes that kind of you can save a lot of time, even if you are doing, let's say, other simulation softwares. A lot of time is actually spent on the geometry because the geometry is not actually ready for simulation. But as you can see with MSC Apex and Apex Generative Design, you can not only modify your geometry very quickly and efficiently, you can actually, it remeshes at the same time as well. You know, as you can see on the right, holes are being, you can drag holes and it remeshes at the same time. Very intuitive, simple design. And actually you can reduce the model size and implement shells, beams, and element quality to a point where you can actually do, get model which is efficient and you can run many more design cases. Here's another example. You can see here a shell geometry and how easy it is to actually, just drag the shape up and then join, and it's ready to mesh. And this can, you can do everything in one tool, which saves you a lot of time. Moving to the next slide. And here again, there's some further examples where you can see sketching, geometry modification, defeaturing, revolve and extrude, which you can do all within MSC Apex. And next slide. Okay, so this again, one of the key strengths of MSC Apex is, for example, if you have a tank or some kind of vessel and you have reinforcement beams, you can see how easy it is. You just define the beam, you select any kind of line that you have or section on your body, and literally you select that and apply, and there you go. That's it, done. You have a beam there with all the contacts set up, and this can be very efficient in oil and gas, tanks, large domes, and mid-surfacing. Pardon?
You've got 2 minutes.
Brilliant. I think I should be okay. So again, as I said, mid-surfacing, you can see this very complicated geometry, and you can mid-surface. It's one of the top tools in the industry for getting mid-surfacing from solid geometries. Brilliant. And here again, one of the key things is if you're implementing composites in your design, I think there is no tool better in a unified environment where you can do composite analysis. It lets you not only select composites, set up the plies, view your shell elements, how the plies are, give thicknesses, and actually simulate composites. Where if you are interested in implementing composites, this is probably the best tool out there to do it in a unified way. Whereas others, they have it in a way where you need different tools to implement together and they don't really talk to each other. Here we have an example of MSC Apex design where you can start off from a very rough geometry and you can then actually get a final very robust design in terms of your stress profile, not just your stiffness, which is and it's one of the fastest one and easy to use. People can be trained in a couple of days to be able to do that. And this is very important because a lot of time people, for example, use additive manufacturing without actually designing the equipment for additive manufacturing. So which is a big mistake because you're designing as you are for normal production processes. But with generative design, you can actually design products which are optimized for your additive manufacturing. And here's another example of the speed that you can achieve it. You start off with a solid model, you know the force, you can get this very intricate design by automation, by the software with around 36 minutes. And if you try to do that manually, you can imagine it will take 4 hours for someone who's really an expert, but actually quite much longer than that, I would suspect. Yeah. So here's an example of one of the key people who have used MSC Apex and what they have to say about it, that it's a key technology and they were designing a fuel pump and that saved them quite a lot of time in this design. It can be used for dynamic analysis of, for example, equipment that goes into launch vehicles as well. And if it's good for a launch vehicle, it's good for oil and gas energy sector.